See, if 200 million rand worth of narcotic, yeah, aka cocaine, disappeared from police custody, would you expect emergency investigations, suspensions, arrests, national outrage, or would you expect paperwork? Because across these testimonies, Lisetta Senona's testimony, who is the head of Hawks KZN, who at the time when this cocaine was stolen, it was under his watch, and he had instructed the police to actually store the cocaine in an unsafe place that wasn't monitored by anyone. So, because the Madalanga Commission of Inquiry, when you listen to this testimony by Lisetta Senona, I don't feel any sense of panic, any sense of institutional rupture. But what we hear a lot of how it would have created paperwork, it would have taken away from his budget to actually store this cocaine to the forensic lab where it needed to be stored, where there would actually be enough safeguarding. The 200 million worth of cocaine, million rand worth of cocaine that was stolen has a very serious implication to public health and safety and international law implication around, because we know this stuff, they get exported to different countries, this very same problem. So let's go through this testimony, Senona's testimony, how it escalates, how Senona escalates it, and what that escalation reveals. So he did acknowledge the theft, of course, that it was reported, it was discovered, how the matter was handled. Notice actually in his testimony that he doesn't really talk about how he authorized that these amount of cocaine must where they needed to be stored in Potchefstroom. And he authorized the storage of this large amount of narcotic to a place that was unsecured. How he intervened in it and how he failed. And when you hear his testimony, it's a classic responsibility diffusion. Uh, at this stage, really, the theft, for in his view, it's really framed as something that happened, an event. He framed this theft as an event, detached from the command, and crucially, the value isn't yet central. The space for plausibility denial is wide. Yeah. When you think about the number 200 million rand worth, the scale becomes explicit. Because 200 million rand worth of cocaine, it's not a clerical error. It's not a misplacement or a junior officer mistake. This is organized crime at the highest proportion. So in this case, we can see how the institution is aware and admitted, because he's the head of Health KZN, and he is the one who instructed these officers to store a cocaine in an unsecure place, ignoring the policy, SAPS policy, in how such large quantity of narcotics should be stored. No, 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 ignore that one, all follow Lisetta Senona's policy, his own only, and Matala's policy, and the Big Five's policy. That's what he followed in this conundrum of the theft of the large amount of cocaine. Anyway, let's just listen to that little bit of that clips, and I'll come back and give you my final thought about it.
Reminded me, General, when did you take over the position of provincial head in KZN?
I was appointed on the 1st of August 2020. Then I reported on the 1st of, was it on September? 1st or 2nd of September. I don't know if it is a Monday, the 1st. Then I started on the 1st. If it
Page
is
7 of your CV.
CV,
Your CV. It says 1 August 2020. That's when you assumed the position.
is the appointment, which means that is the date of appointment, Commissioner. And then what happens is, if I may just clarify that one, when you are appointed, you don't, it is difficult for you to go immediately. What happens where you are, you must have the process of handing over and clearing up the office. You go and do the visit. You must look for accommodation before you go there, because when you go there, you must already have accommodation, because I was from Gauteng here at head office, in Pretoria, head office, commissioners. So physically, I took up the post, I think it was the 1st or 2nd of September.
Of 2020.
Of 2020.
Okay. All right. So now if we look at page 533, under paragraph 4, General Masikili deals with what she calls the security aspect. And she notes that the Potchefstroom office was broken into 8 times since 2011. But if you look at the last 3 instances, they were 15 January 2021, 11 October 2021, and then, of course, the 8th November 2021. So those 3 were while you were the provincial head, correct?
No, incorrect. Commissioners, I'm saying it is incorrect. It is correct with the last 2, not the last 3. Sorry,
I thought you said 20
pardon?
September 2020.
Sorry, I beg your pardon. I think I missed this year. Yeah, January. Yeah. Yes, commissioners.
You could ask yourself, what was the denial, even if it was broken once? If the place had been broken once because of the lack of security, then a normal, reasonable person wouldn't recommend a storage of that large amount of narcotic in that place, even if it had been broken in once, which suggests there isn't sufficient security in that location. And it's not a place that they would normally store this large amount of quantity of seizure of narcotic. But this time, he instructed the SAPS who were working under him to store it there, at that location. And now they're reading the risk assessment that had been completed by another person before he took over, that location was not a safe location to store high risk seizure of narcotics. Right. So he would have known about this anyway. That's my assessment of his testimony. He knew this place was not safe, that he could justify the seizure, people coming in and stealing it. Right?
Yeah, correct.
Correct. It's the last 3, correct? Yeah. Yes. So that's what I'm saying. These last 3 took place when you were the provincial head.
Yes.
And in fact, the second last one, 11 October, was the month before the theft of this 541 kgs of cocaine. It was just the month before.
Just a month before,
yes.
Commissioners. Can I say this? The last one is the actual theft of the cocaine. The last one.
Yes.
So before the actual theft of the cocaine, that's why I was confused earlier. It was 2.
I think we've agreed that the last 3, while you were provincial head, and That's right. The last three instances here.
That is not in dispute.
Okay. All right. I'm not sure
However,
why
was
you're
just-
revisiting it. So I'm pointing out.
The revisiting advocate commissioners. Sorry. Okay.
Start from the beginning what you were saying, General.
When I said the revisiting,
Yes.
the revisiting, it was to say this was the last one is the actual theft. The two, they happened before the actual theft. That is the revisiting. I wanted to clarify that, commissioners.
Yes. No. We're clear on that. All three happened while you were provincial head.
Correct?
Yes. And I'm saying that the second last one happened just the month prior to the theft of the 541 kg.
Correct?
And if you turn over the page, 534, at paragraph 4.4, General Mosikidi says, based on this glaring security breaches, it is not clear what motivated the provincial management to consider the Potchefstroom as a safe place to store drugs of such high value. What is your comment on that?
Although I've seen this document when I was presented with the files by the commission, I'm saying, commissioners, these breakings, from the actual theft, the last two, they happened under my watch. And these top ones, all of them, they didn't happen under my watch. And I was not aware about them. The only ones that I'm aware of is these two. Already, when this one of October happened, we gave directives that they must speedily finalize the investigation of these drugs because we needed the Section 212 report in order for us to make a decision to dispose this. And these two are those breakings where I said the homeless people, where we say we saw the stone, they utilized a stone to break the kitchen window, of which we believe those people were looking for food. It was not something that was very, very serious that it can cause a concern. But I do see the paragraph 4.4 of General Musikidi, and based on what was presented before her, when she wrote this report, these things were presented before her. Earlier,
continue, General.
Hence, earlier I said, if I knew about this series before I wouldn't have maybe agreed. It would have changed my decision to agree to store there.
General, just for clarity, I want to deal with the two break-ins just before the theft of the drugs. CAS 165, January 2021. Where exactly was the break-in in respect of that, and what was stolen?
It was on the side of the kitchen door, Commissioner. On the side of the kitchen, a kitchen window pane was broken by a stone. Yes, Commissioner.
And what was stolen on that occasion?
There was nothing. There was no entry. They couldn't gain entry.
And then CAS 116 of October 2021, the break-in, where exactly was that and what was stolen?
I'm going there, Commissioners. 116.
Yes.
commissioners, they couldn't gain entry. It was also the same modus operandi. The window pane was broken by a stone.
And then when was the break-in that resulted in the theft of, did you say laptops? Please just remind me, you did say when that was.
Yes.
I thought perhaps that was one of these two.
It's not one of these two.
Okay, when was that one?
It's the ones before me. I can't exactly, okay. I'm unable to tell the commissioner now. Right. This is this until if I can be given opportunity to request the report.
I have the clarity I need. Thank you very much, General. Yes, Mr. Sim.
Thank you. So you were aware of the thefts from before your time?
Which ones now? I know about these two. I became aware.
Sorry, the laptop theft, when did that happen?
Commissioners, I indicated I knew about this after the fact. These others.
Oh, I see. The laptop theft you discovered after the fact.
I was informed about them after the fact.
So,
sorry, Mr. Sim. And the thefts were from offices, you said?
Well, if I remember very well, I think they broke windows. They were breaking windows, and then the battlers, then they will break those things, go into the office, steal a laptop, go. According to what
when I refer to the office, I'm trying to make a distinction between the safe or strong room and offices. So were the thefts from offices or from the strong room?
From offices, Commissioner, not the storeroom.
Yes, Mr. Sim.
Thank you, Chair. So I just want to ask the following, based on what had been recommended by the earlier report we were looking at. And you'll see it's, General Mosikili refers to it. She says in 4.3, but it's really over the page.
4.
The bullet points. What I'd like to ask you is whether there are perimeter beam sensors around the ground floor of the office.
There are no perimeter beams. I indicated that the only thing that I know that is there is the alarm system that was there. And then I further indicated that I participated in ensuring that we need security guards. Currently, they've just advertised post. The process of appointing security guards for those buildings is underway.
And there are no infrared sensors in the interior offices?
There
are no infrared sensors?
No, there are no infrared sensors.
And the alarm system that you had at the time, the drugs were stored there, was the alarm connected to an armed response company?
The alarm was connected to the owner. I can't recall if there was an armed response as well as the acting unit commander's phone. If anything happens, there are no people. You'll get some sense of, you get either a call or some sense of notices that there is something that is not right. And I know this because in my old office, it was connected to me, to my cell phone.
Okay, and then the last one was what was required was upgrading and repairs of the perimeter lighting. Can you comment on the perimeter lighting at the building?
Which one? Page?
Where I was 534.
534. Paragraph?
It's the same bullet points that I was dealing with.
Which bullet? Oh, the last one.
Yes.
The last bullet. Commissioners, I've never visited these offices during the night. I'm unable to talk to this one. Late at night, I'm unable to talk to this one.
Okay.
If it's one of the storage facilities that you use, wouldn't you check and have an interest at least in the security of the place? How secure is it? And I think the question consider the question against a kind of background that you are the head, and then you would have an interest in where exhibits are stored, and so that interest would include how secure the place is.
Commissioner, thank you for that question. The fact that there were previous storage there at that facilities, I took comfort of that, and the offices, there is a street here, and I don't want to assume that there are lights, but I've never visited it after hours. Maybe one would have maybe asked that, but I took comfort because previously there were storage and nothing happened to those storages.
When would
General, just a moment.
A lot of contradictions, because previously he had told them that, he had actually looked at the place and he had made sure that the place was safe and everything. There was security, there was monitoring of that place, but we found out there was none of that. So now he's been caught in the very same lie.
What worries me is that your evidence yesterday, you showed us a photograph from June 2018, July 2018, and you said they've stored drugs here before in 2018, and based on that, I took comfort that this facility is safe. But now we are seeing that in 2011, 2018, 2020, twice, 2021, twice, there were these incidents. Did you not inquire about the facility before you took the decision that the drug should be stored there?
It never crossed my mind. I didn't, Commissioner.
So your reliance on the 2018 incident, that was after the fact. It's not like you had investigated and determined that this is a safe facility because in the past few years, things were stored here and nothing happened.
I took comfort into that, Commissioner. That's why I agreed for the exhibit to be stored.
But when did you learn that in 2018 drugs were stored at the same facility? When did you become aware of that?
While they were still there at the Isipingo, before we made even storage, there were phone calls that were made, Commissioner. That is when I've learned about that. On the day of the Seizure, there at Isipingo.
How long were that 2018 that gave you comfort? How long were those drugs stored at the Potchefstroom office?
I can't give an exact time, but until the case was finalized, one will have to go and check the records so that I can be able to give the exact, because the records must be there. We will just check the case number and everything and check the record. Then I'll be able to provide the exact time frame.
Okay, so your response to the Commission on the issue of safety of the office is that you took comfort in the fact that in 2018 there were drugs that were stored there, but you didn't otherwise do any checks yourself on the security and safety features of the office.
The security and safety features, I didn't check, but I said I went on the day when these exhibits were placed there. I inspected the safe myself. I was there.
No, I'm just distinguishing for now between the safe and the building itself, because it seems it wasn't that difficult to get into the building.
You say it seems, but according to me, I took comfort because I also went and have a look at the safe about that. I do not have any other explanation of that, but I've never went and checked the lights as it was indicated here, these beaming perimeters, and then I didn't have knowledge of these previous breakings by then. And for me, when I look at that place, it was not going to be easy for a person to go in and go in that, as well as when you look at the safe itself. I don't think we have a capacity here to open that safe without a key. The way it was opened. I don't know if the commissioners, the photos that you're having are black and white, but I have something that I can share with you just to have a glance of it on a smallanyana color to see that these people, they know what they were doing. As the people who have a special skills in order to deal with these things.
I don't know what point he's trying to make here, because the entry was easy to enter and the place had no 24-hour security. It was an office that most people weren't using it anyway. So there was no 24-hour security. So people with big machinery would go there and do it for the whole day because they knew there would be no one coming in. Going to inspect the storage without looking into the security of the place itself that had been broken in previously on numerous occasions. Anyway, I don't think I want to go further with his testimony because it's the same theme, but I want you guys to look at back to see where this cocaine went. Okay, now let's listen to this court appearance by KT Mulefe, one of the member of the Big Five cartels.
Alleged Big Five cartel member, that is KT Mulefe, and his three co-accused will return to the Johannesburg High Court on the 12th of March, after both the state and defense indicated they aren't trial ready. The four face charges in connection of the 2022 murder of popular musicians DJ Somebody and DJ Victos, whose real names are Oga Sefuka and Victor Butenzi. Mulefe is also charged with the murder of engineer R200. Newsroom Africa's Veronica Mahmadi has more.
The four men appeared in the dock to face trial on a staggering 35 charges, including murder, 4 counts of conspiracy to commit murder, 11 counts of unlawful possession of firearms, and attempted murder. Now, among the reasons given for the delay is the outstanding evidentiary disclosures, with the defense telling the court that not all outstanding material has been made available to them.
This is a postponement by agreement. The parties are not ready for the pre-trial proceedings yet. So the date that we are proposing is the 12th of March of this year. Accused number 1, 2, and 3 are in custody, no bail fixed. Accused number 4 is on bail.
Inside the courtroom, Mulefe and his co-accused were seen blatantly sharing whispers in the dock, occasionally leaning toward one another as proceedings unfolded, while a heavy police presence remained visible throughout the court. Now, Mulefe, who is, of course, alleged to be the mastermind behind the high-profile contract killings, will remain out on bail. He was previously granted bail totaling R500,000, that's 400,000 relating to the murder of engineer R200, and a further 100,000 linked to the murders of DJs Somebody and Victos. His three co-accused, alleged hitman Michael Dau, Musakegana, and Floyd Mabusela, will, however, remain in custody. The matter returns to court on the 12th of March, when it is expected that both.
So, now, KT Mulefe, I haven't actually discussed his stuff, but he's a member of the Big Five cartels. And KT also has a conviction, UK conviction, convicted of trafficking, the very same thing. All right, so he's accused of murdering the 2 DJs, Vintos and Somebody. Not the real name, of course, but we'll use the names that they're known of. It's alleged that that bus, cocaine, that was stolen at Senona's office, that location, eventually was given to 3 people. Okay, these DJs, two DJs, and another friend of Vusimusiket Matlala, Jerry Bosheko, to sell. As always, whenever there is discussed cartels, there's always going to be violence and murders, fighting for the money of the very same thing. All right. So it's like the whole thing didn't go so well. Unfortunately, they were playing with fires because these people who have befriended and have been rubbing shoulder with a member of these big five cartels, they're putting their lives at risk, their family members at risk, because these people, once they know that one of you knows too much, they can actually do something horrible to you or your family because they know that you know too much. You could. So what they do is to actually kill information. All right, if they think you're likely to expose them, or if they think you've taken their money from the sale of this controlled substance narcotic that was stolen from Senona's office. I don't believe this narcotic was stolen. I think this was a pre-arranged stuff between the Big Five members and Senona, because we know that Senona is friend consider Matlala as one of the brother, but Matlala is a member of this gang, part of these Big Five cartels. And we saw him sharing very confidential affidavit about police officer and the address, and basically using his position to advance the mission of the Big Five cartels. So he has been referred to further investigation by Cyril Ramaphosa even before he came to this. But notably, Cyril actually ensured that Sibia is not referred, because Sibia has a very important role that he played for Cyril and for the deputy late president. And that comes with the testimony of Witness F. From Witness F, we can see the reason why. Maybe perhaps that's why Sibia is still being left, because Sibia can collapse, including the president, and everyone else can collapse. So that both Sibia and Kunu are left. And they're very, very much they're in there themselves. They're part of this thing. They knowingly participated with people that they knew that were involved in criminal activities. So you should never trust people like that, and you should never vote for somebody like that, knowingly that these people are doing dodgy stuff, but participated and befriended them, consider them their friends. All right. So yeah, they DJ somebody and DJ Ventus were unalive as a result of this cocaine that was stolen under Senona's watch. Shall we say, given, allowed for them to come and take it. Because, as you have heard, there was no security there, and he knew it. The place wasn't safe to even, and he actually ignored the SAPS internal policy of that large amount of seizure, how it should be managed. He ignored all of that. He created his own Big Five cartel policy that advanced the mission of the Big Five cartels. So, yes. So another thing I'm going to remind, in terms of the third person that is alleged that may have been kidnapped as a result of this drug seizure, and that some of these large quantity of narcotic cocaine was given to him, is Jerry Bosheko, who is a friend of Vusimusiket Matala. And that to do with that Nangi. That Nangi, who is a very known serial kidnapper, allegedly, of course, was seen on the day when Jerry Boshua disappeared. Nangi had a meeting with Matala, and Nangi and Jerry Boshua had a meeting. And they never saw Jerry again. The family believed that Jerry disappeared as a result of Matala. Matala demanded ransom from the family, allegedly, of course, and through the use of the. But it's alleged that that person, Nangi, is involved in the disappearance of Jerry Bushoka. Now, what's interesting about his disappearance is that the CI, the head of CI, were asked to take over the Jerry Bushua case because they didn't actually, the family didn't actually trust the Gauteng to manage it. They asked the police commissioner to hand over all the investigation to KZN. So the KZN, they took over the case and they did this counterintelligence that they always do. And they were 100% sure that Jerry was at Matlala's house. Okay, and they requested a warrant for search warrant from the judge. Because of this infiltration of these cartel into law enforcement, including judiciary, that warrant of arrest and information before they even acted upon was now communicated to Matala. So when they arrived there, Jerry was not there, but they found a blanket that linked Jerry. That is actually, they tested the blanket and found that the DNA is actually a DNA collaboration that Jerry was possibly in this house, but they could not find Jerry. So if you listen to Matlala's charge, one of the Matlala's charges is kidnapping. It's actually allegedly involved with this, but Jerry hasn't been found. But the strong opinion is that someone at SAPS informed and notified Matlala. And from now, after we've had someone, the rogue police officer, which is witness F, testifying, we could always, with 100% certainty, that that person, witness F, was the one that was actually, that informed Matlala that, hey, there's a search warrant, that they're going to come to your house and they're looking for this person. So somehow there was a leak from the judiciary, the judge, all the way down to this person. So this is very dangerous, this stuff. Very dangerous. I mean, it's now look like the whole thing is a mafia state. And I wouldn't feel comfortable. For me, in my honest opinions, I don't think ANC should be running South Africa. Unfortunately, there's not a good party that has come out that's better than what we have in the last 31 years. Opposition that can be able to provide a solution for South Africa that's South Africa based, not copycat of Trump or this white supremacy ideology, that can actually dismantle the ANC, because it's so dangerous to realize that these are people who are elected that allow their government to be infiltrated by these criminals for all part of law enforcement. Imagine. That one is very scary. So now let's listen to our action essay talking about this issue to do with the Jerry and confronting Matlala about what really happened. So you get to see where this drug Caesar went. This is where the drug Caesar, the people that were involved, the Big Five cartels, and we know now Senona is very much embedded in that Big Five cartel. Okay, he cannot deny it. This text message, this whole thing with him and Matlala, and there's no brother and sister here in Matlala. These people are related for a benefit, using his position to sell the state information for his own personal gain. This chasing of resource money instead of actually protecting what is yours with the safety of citizens. But all of them hunt this money. They chasing this money and easy money without working harder for it. That's why we're here. We're here because now of this thing of people putting money over competency and skills. Because if the really competence and skill was a priority of ANC government, we wouldn't be here. There wouldn't be this tender stuff. There wouldn't be people fighting on this stuff, creating a criminal organized crime on a tender, this type of stuff. When you look at this whole thing, it's all about these tender. These people involved in criminal activities But now they want to legitimize their own criminal activities by involving in government stuff. And they have allowed it to happen. The ANC have allowed it to happen. Okay, they've allowed this thing to thrive in there. So anyway, let's listen to Doralyn Jane giving it to Makala, and that will be the final
targeting
clip,
you.
guys.
SAPS is not doing what?
SAPS is targeting you,
Not the entire SAPS, yes. Some
but there's a portion of SAPS targeting you, right? You said earlier on that you are not and have never been associated with any drug trafficking network or organized crime syndicates. So, to be clear, your evidence is that you want us to believe that you are not a gangster, right? That you are not a member of any drug cartel and play no role in any criminal syndicate or organized crime structure. Is that what you want us to believe here today?
It's what I'm telling you. For you to believe that's something else, but that's what I'm telling you.
Okay, very well. Now let me test the credibility of that denial, right? You refer to Jerry as a close friend and confirm that you never questioned, you distanced yourself from or passed judgment on his involvement in drug trafficking. Is that true?
Yes.
Can you tell Jerry's mother also today, can you tell Mama that Jerry was a drug dealer, a drug kingpin? Did you tell her that?
No.
Do you think she needs to know that her son was a drug dealer?
I didn't tell her that.
I'm saying, do you think that it's time she gets to know that her son was a drug dealer?
I don't know about that.
You don't think that she must know that her son is a drug dealer, and when you destroy people's lives, ultimately this is what happens?
Because Jerry's mom has nothing to do with us. She's a mother.
She's a mother.
Whether Jerry's a drug
But I
dealer
think
or
it's
not,
time that she knows her son is a drug dealer.
that's what you're saying.
Do you know someone by the name of Ishmael Nangi?
Yes, I do.
Were you involved in a business relationship with Ishmael Nangi?
No.
You weren't?
Yes.
Weren't involved?
Business.
Yes. Any dealings? Do you have any dealings with him?
No, I don't.
You don't. Were you present at the meeting with Ishmael and Jerry on the night that he went missing?
No, I was not.
You weren't present at the meeting. The night Jerry went missing, you didn't meet with him.
No, I didn't.
You didn't meet.
No,
Would this not be the reason why they think you've got something to do with his kidnapping?
No, I didn't. I didn't meet him that day. It was on Monday, I remember. Sunday, that Monday, he called me actually telling me that he was in the club on Sunday. So I was talking to Jerry on the phone, and we never met.
But you never met with Ishmael and Jerry?
No.
Never?
No.
What would be your response if I put it to you that the allegation that you and General Sibia were allegedly involved in the sale of illegal drugs from stolen forensic laboratory to the value of 40 million rand, which was given to Jerry to sell, and that Jerry in fact owed money to you and Sibia and Nagy, and that was the reason for meeting him on the night of his disappearance?
Like I'm saying to you,
that Jerry owed you guys money. It was a drug deal gone horribly wrong.
that is not true.
Not true.
Yes.
I highly doubt that the truth of your answers, Mr. Matala, but let's move on, right? Because you've had nothing to do with his disappearance.
Yes.
Because
that's
earlier on, Mr. Malema said that his family thinks that you are involved. And now I put it to you that there was 40 million rand worth of drugs sold, stolen from forensics that embroiled, alleged yourself and General Sibia. But you have nothing to do with that.
That's my first time hearing that from you, actually.
When 200 million rand worth of narcotic can vanish without institutional shock, you're not looking at failure. You're actually looking at a system that has adapted to criminality.